so it's kind of cushy, and you can jump off a roof and land in the dumpster. Now that
jump off the roof, the van in the dumpster.
All right, next. For the most part, Steve-O bummed me out about it. He made me feel like a loser.
You can go to 1 minute in.
Okay. Yeah, so the cold open, let's go to 1 minute in. Here he is, and it's Danny Brown and Steve-O. Okay, and we're going to get to know the real Steve-O. This is the Steve-O I knew we were going to see in a few days. Because you're seeing it build. You're seeing people finally open it up to their eyes about this Steve-O, you know.
No, it's a great time when I'm hanging out with y'all, man. I got none other than a legend, Steve-O, in the building. How you doing, brother?
hanging tough, bro. Hanging tough.
Same here, man. Same here, man. Yeah, man. I was able to check the special out yesterday.
Rad,
special?
dude. Thanks, man.
Yes, it's really great. I mean, as a fan of Jackass and all that
Listen
stuff,
to
man,
this.
just to see
Legend. As a fan of Jackass, it's really exciting to have you here. I love the special. He's got this cute little smile on. He's excited to be with Steve-O.
Yes, it's really great. I mean, as a fan of Jackass and all that stuff, man, just to see you out here still doing that shit, man, is amazing. But I would say for me, what I loved about it the most, it's really a love story, man.
Yeah, it is, man.
For the most part, man, your girl love the fuck out you, man. Cause ain't no goddamn way.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Eating
man.
up the compliments.
To find someone like that, man, that's definitely a match made in heaven, man. Like, she really holds you down, man.
He knows all about
She
his
does,
girlfriend.
man. We've been
Yeah,
together for almost 7 years now, and I've never doubted if I want to be with this woman.
That's wonderful. Steve-O's a very selfish person. You're really going to see how selfish he is. This is the Steve-O. You're going to meet him today, the Steve-O that I've been looking at for the last 4 years here.
Okay, you can go to 550.
550. Wait till you see what he does here. 550. Here we are.
Thing. I mean, the problem for me is that my weed bone
Listen to
is
Danny.
connected to my booze bone.
Yes.
And my booze bone is connected to my coke bone. My coke bone's connected to my pill bone, and it's all bets are off. So if you're trying to quit one thing, then, you can't do a patchwork of sobriety, man.
Well, yeah, I would definitely say you were definitely like an inspiration.
Well, thanks, man, and congratulations.
Of watching you with your
I would
journey.
definitely say you're an inspiration to me. And, you see how sweet he's being? Should I continue this part?
You can go to 720.
720. So he's really telling Steve-O how appreciative he is of Steve-O's existence. 720?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other disease,
Okay,
the
here we
best
go.
you can hope for is to get back to as healthy
to
as
this.
you were before you got sick. And then there's us.
This is the big
where
one.
When we treat our disease, we become better versions of ourselves than we ever were before. Straight up, man.
Yeah, 'cause that's the crazy part about it. Because I find myself to be a lot more patient now when I'm creating. Like before, it was almost just like let me hurry up and do this shit
Listen to
so I can
this.
go get fucked up. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
for
saying?
sure.
And now it's like I'm actually enjoying the process of just being in the studio or even being on stage. That created it became almost like therapy for me, man. And
What do you do on stage?
I do-
What the fuck? What do you do on stage? It's rapper Danny Brown from the last 20 years of hip hop. Surely you've heard of him. You're on his show. Watch this again. Watch this.
I'm actually enjoying the process of just being in the studio or even being on stage. That created it became almost like therapy for me, man. And
What do you do on stage?
I do music.
You do music? Nice, man.
Oh, man.
And, Danny doesn't stick up for himself. Danny, too sweet.
Do you think now his wheels are turning a little bit
It
going,
seems like, because you just said, because Danny's like, I love to create, whether it's in the studio or on stage. He goes, what do you do on stage? He goes, I make music. Man, he don't know me in his head. And then I wonder if it clicked with Steve-O, because he's so tired from all the podcasts. I wonder if it clicked that, that was like a big social faux pas. Like, you just asked, shouldn't you know what he does on stage? I mean, surely you were acting like you loved him, you knew him, and you should know him. And he knew you.
He watched your special. Just
special.
because he probably wasn't going to watch it, but he watched it because you were coming here as a guest.
Look at this selfish guy. Watch how he does this, y'all. Watch this.
Fucked up. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
for
saying?
sure.
And now it's like I'm actually enjoying the process of just being in the studio or even being on stage. That created it became almost like therapy for me, man. And
What do you do on stage?
I do music.
You do music?
Mm-hmm.
Nice, man.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
And then back
silly,
to
dude.
talking about himself.
And for me, like, I
For
remember
me.
because you go into rehab, and they start talking about, oh, you got to have a higher power. You know, you got to have a spiritual life. You got to.
So is Danny Brown sitting there going,
ego.
this motherfucker don't know me?
Here, go to
Shit.
10 minutes in.
Let's see. Is Danny Brown, is this affecting Danny Brown? I know it should. You know, every other white comic knows exactly who he is. What was the time?
Just 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Let's see what happens.
And what I started doing, because there was actually a reason for me to do it, was go out to the comedy club.
Yeah.
And I'd be, you know, I mean, sure, people are drinking there too, but I had a legit reason to be there because I'm checking out the show. And so I would be sitting in that comedy club and I'd be looking at that stage and I was thinking, man.
She's telling a long
I should
story
be
about
on- I
himself.
should be on there. And it was just nagging at me and nagging at me. And I finally did it. And it's turned into something awesome.
Wow, man, that's great. All right, man, we're jumping into some of these acts.
Whoa. Yeah, man, that's great. And it was like a 20-minute story about how he's grown so much and how well he's doing. And again, Danny responds with Steve-O's long-winded story about how great he's doing. Danny responds with this.
And it was just nagging at me and nagging at me. And I finally did it. And it's turned into something awesome.
Wow, man, that's great. All right, man, we're jumping into some of these
When his
acts.
face
Always
falls.
Yeah, man, that's great. And then, and then Steve-O sits there like a jackass. I could kind of see behind Danny's shades right now that he's kind of can't believe
This is
that this is happening, and he's kind of got a look of, you know, he finds it comical. He finds it comical, but there's also a panic in how long am I supposed to keep talking to this motherfucker? You don't
and
even
this
know who the
episode is
fuck
only
I
like
am.
30 minutes long.
So
It's
the
like
episode's
the
only
shortest
30
episode.
minutes long. Look at that. Okay, what's our next code with these two?
You can go ahead to 2755.
7:55. Let's see what happens. Danny Brown, Steve-O. Not getting along. 27:55.
Yes. So now he just starts kind of taking listener questions.
Okay. And they're not really getting along. They're not jiving at all at this point. We're almost there. Okay.
We'll get ready to get up out of this motherfucker in a minute, man.
Oh, really? It's been 28 minutes. We're getting ready to get out of here. He needs to get away from
I
Steve-O.
like the way you guys do this podcast, man.
Oh, butt
So Steve-O, I think, is feeling a little guilt. He saw the chemistry dropped as soon as he asked, what do you do on stage? I bet it's haunting Steve-O. You know, he's trying to decide, was that like really offensive to him? So now I think he's going to try like making up for it by, you know, sucking up and trying to sweet talk them out of being in trouble. Let's find out.
I like the way you guys do this podcast, man.
Oh, really?
Game of the Year nominees. Steve-O, you played any video games?
Man,
Uh-oh. And now he's going to blow it. So Steve-O's trying to get on his good side, although he's got his foot up on the desk now.
Because there was, I skipped
Yeah.
over it, but he goes, is it cool if I put my feet up? You're not mad at me? And he goes, oh, man, okay.
So the other thing you would know about Danny Brown, if you knew who Danny Brown was, it's a big part of his lore, is that he's obsessed with video games.
His favorite game is Persona.
Danny Brown loves video games. He's known as a gamer, nerd, rapper, alternative rapper, podcast host. And everybody who listens to the show knows his love for games, and they've all been waiting to hear his review on a new game that came out that they've all been waiting for years. But Steve-O kind of intercepts the question, and watch what happens.
Game of the Year nominees. Steve-O, you played any video games?
man, I think that video games are really, really dangerous.
Steve-O, no. Steve-O now proceeds to go on a rant about how video games are destroying the youth in how video game users are simply losers. This is not what Danny Brown wanted, not on the day he didn't know.
He wanted to talk about Game of the Year nominees.
Yes, so listen to this.
Podcast, man.
Which maybe could have clued you into the
Game of the Year
nominees.
game.
Steve-O, you played in video games?
Man, I think that video games are really, really dangerous. I do.
Oh, man.
I think that people sit there on their fucking ass all day long playing a goddamn
They love
video
this
game
speech.
where they're
All of his fans are gamers. He's real into video games, and so is the channel. It's game-based. Almost. And Steve-O is going on an anti-video game rant, the same rant that they said no to about 20 years ago. A rant that no one would dare to do. You've all given up. We've all given up. Now it's, oh, yes, your video game's very nice. You don't start with what's right and what's wrong, okay? Were you born yesterday? Listen to this.
do. I think that people sit there on their fucking ass all day long playing a goddamn video game where their physical health just turns into absolute
Ain't this some
garbage.
shit?
Like the human body becomes an actual piece of garbage when you just sit
Wow.
on the sofa fucking
piece
all day,
of
every day.
garbage.
And you're playing these video games. You accomplish literally nothing. I mean, like.
And this came out of
then you got
nowhere. He wasn't
an whole-
ranting
it's
about
almost
anything before.
another level of shit where, like, and then people are just sitting there for hours and hours all day long watching other assholes play video games on YouTube. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Nice.
And there's also the speculation that video games inspire violence, that like violence.
Oh my God.
They think they,
Oh,
like, they
ain't
really
this some
think-
shit?
They think that all these shoot 'em up video games are making people into like school shooters or murderers or whatever. And they did a scientific study. I watched a documentary about this on an
Jesus
airplane.
Christ.
Scientific study. The results showed that video game violence does not lead to real life violence.
Here we go.
However, it also concluded that playing video games for hours and hours definitely leads to becoming a complete fucking loser.
No, Steve-O.
An absolute fucking waste.
Jesus.
And I just feel like, I mean, I know that I know video games are popular, and I know I'm not making a lot of fans for
Yeah, they
saying
gonna call
that.
you a boomer. They definitely calling
Yeah.
you a boomer right now.
I know that I'm doing myself a disservice by making people mad at me for having this opinion. I get it. Like, I don't mean I'm just
And these are the mistakes you make when you're tired and irritated. This is why you don't do 4 or 5 podcasts every day for 2 months. Was it worth it to promote your special? Because now a large group of people think you're a complete ass. You see? Was it worth it? And they're not going to buy your special now. You just spent a half hour on this show that you had to drive to, wait for, and now you're on it for nothing. None of the fans. You didn't know who Danny Brown was. And then you hate games. So none of the work you just did here led to anybody going and buying your special, which you have to buy. It's not like it's free on YouTube.
On his website.
Steve-O, you're more of a, oh, it's that guy. I'll click on it. You're not really a, I'm running out to buy the special from Steve-O. We see it every day. We know what it's going to be. I bet those special sales, this could be the lowest sold special. You know, he got cocky. He thought he could put it just behind a paywall. I don't even know if it would do good on YouTube for free. Then I looked at his Instagram, 4.7 million followers, or was it 7.4? No, I think it's
I think it was
7.4 million followers. I go, well, that's right. You know, when you got on TV back in the day there, you really got burned in a lot of people's minds. You know, they'll really just come out for Steve. He gets like 77,000 likes on his pics.
Steve-O, you're like maybe following him because you're like, the guy from Jackass. And yes, you would click it if you saw it on Netflix.
Yeah, but are you gonna buy
seeking
it?
out extra
Steve-O?
content on the side?
It's not like his podcast and stuff is doing any good. So let's see how he gets out of this one.
Is kind of trying to be light and fun and lighthearted, but like really, like I genuinely just wish that that people would live their lives the way they want to have had lived their lives when they're on their deathbed.
Wow.
And I also have concern that America's standing in the world as a nation is not being helped by video games.
Wow.
That's
strong.
I don't know, man. I mean, whatever. If I upset
America's
people,
stance in
I'm
the nation.
sorry. I just want people to.
So did you say America's stance in the nation?
Yeah, what does
Did he
that
say
mean?
that? It's being
Or
affected.
as a nation, maybe?
As a nation, we're looked at as bad. I don't think that anybody's got video games on their mind when they think of America as a nasty nation. Don't they all love games everywhere? They're all playing video. Have you ever seen China?
That's their favorite fucking
They've got them
thing.
packed in like sardines downstairs in the basement playing little kids' games all day. You win nothing. There's no good graphics. It's little kids' games. Grown-ass men. Handsome Japanese men. Strong. And they're playing these games.
To become accomplished. I want them to be proud of it. I just can't imagine that you're proud of sitting on a fucking sofa
Wow.
playing fucking video
Fuck,
games.
he's already dead.
I've never seen him go off.
Video games have been part of my life as long as I've been living. It's just another.
Video games has been part of my life as long as I've been living. Shit. Well, we should just end this then. Right? Just delete the episode. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks so much for having me on. I had a blast. Did you have a blast? You were a bummer on Kill Tony, too. Sat
And I
there.
think that was on the same day.
Same
because
that
he
you
was
were wearing the same
outfit,
clothes.
Perhaps.
Look at this.
Well, for me, a person that video games have been part of my life as long as I've been living. It's just another artistic thing to me. It's just like music or movies or anything that someone
do
does,
music?
to me. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's
it's
true.
Just, it's just a piece of art to me. You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
I sit on my ass and watch fucking YouTube, so I'm a loser too. There
Oh,
you go.
yeah, that's way worse than video games.
That's what we're watching.
But yeah, I can say that, and
Yeah, well, he does work for YMH Studios. That's way worse. And he meant it.
But yeah, I can say that, and I'm when I'm sitting around, I'm playing video games for hours and hours on end. I'm definitely depressed. There's definitely something wrong there. If I'm happy and I'm living life and shit, I'm not
Bending the knee to
playing
Steve
video
O.
games as
Steve
much.
Just that
Glover.
nice.
But to answer the question,
He's
Game
too
of the Year
nice.
nominees, I would say definitely Final Fantasy.
It's
meaningless now.
Phantom
Sadly, talk about the game.
DLC.
It doesn't matter. I don't really like games anymore. It's stupid to talk about, probably. No, we want to know about what you thought about the game.
They were dying to hear what his
Maybe
thoughts
another
were.
time. I was so excited to talk about this game today, but guess it's not in the cards. It's all right. It's probably stupid anyway.
Phantom Liberty DLC. Couple indie games, but nah, for the most part, Steve-O bummed me out about it.
Thank you.
And I really just.
Oh, and they zoom in on
That was a
Steve-O.
self-zoom.
Yeah, look at this.
And I really just.
Whoa.
So
What an asshole. He
I guess
takes.
we'll get out of here.
Whoa.
Thank you guys for stopping through. Same time.
I guess we'll get out of
You
here.
got some shit you want to plug, Steve-O?
I just want to say that my bucket list special, it's multimedia. I did the most fucked up shit that I've ever done. And
What is
it's shit
multimedia
that I could
even
never have done for Jackass.
They're
It's
just
shit
gonna play
that
videos?
streamers would never fucking show you. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get crazier than ever. I put together this multimedia comedy special.
Wow.
It is wildly fucked up. 5 people passed out at the taping of the show.
that was fucking crazy.
And yeah, man, it's the craziest thing I ever did, and it's at steveo.com, and I encourage everybody to go.
No
there.
one's going there.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming through, man.
Dude,
Great
thank you,
having
man.
It was fun.
Again, I really am super impressed by this whole setup.
Well, it's not.
Yeah.
He didn't do the
I
setup.
can see on the monitor, like the whole multicam.
The whole
Presumably,
multicam.
the editing is already done because they're editing it in real time. Is
Oh,
that
he's
right,
trying to
guys?
make up. This is like where the waiter tries to make up for their bad service before the tip.
Yeah.
For the most part, we do some other stuff.
They hate you.
They hate you.
More or less. That's very effective.
Oh, Steve-O, get out of here. They're trying to end.
Studio
Get
and
your
all the
feet
staff, I'm
down.
sure is-
Yeah, everyone's
You were
great,
a
man. Shouts out to the
rude
Booth
guest.
Boys, man.
Yeah.
Everybody here.
Appreciate
you. Know what I'm
you.
saying?
Yeah, shouts out, man.
Okay, Steve-O,
it's a
up,
great thing you guys got here, and thanks for having
Come
me.
on,
I love
Steve-O.
you, motherfuckers. See y'all next week. Same time, same channel. Peace.
There it was. Steve-O and Dante Brown. Pretty good. The Steve-O, watch out. I told you. We wanted a downfall. We got another one.